Hello, I'm Mona Santana. This is my daily gratitude list where I list and talk about 5 things I'm grateful for that hopefully you can relate to as well. Number 1, I am grateful for sewing machines. I decided to be grateful for sewing machines today because I was realizing that our lives have changed so drastically since the invention of sewing machines. If you really stop and think about it, you'll see just how many uses we have for sewing machines. And I'm talking about the kind that you use at your house, the kind that you use in places where they make garments, but then there's also industrial sewing machines. So there's all kinds of sewing machines that have just brought so many things into our lives. I mean, we use sewing machines for the upholstery in your car, for furniture, for clothing, for shoes, it's just an endless amount of things that we use sewing machines for. And before the sewing machines, people had to sew everything by hand. So of course everything took super long time to make, and consequently you only had like one outfit or one whatever. And so now, we just take these things for granted because we have just so much disposable clothing now, even where you're like, oh, I'm just going to wear this once and throw it out. I try to recycle clothes because I figure, it's a good idea to do that for the environment. So, even though I think that the invention of the sewing machine was a phenomenally great invention, and, I don't at all discount the great things that it brought into my life. In fact, I'm using it as my first thing to be grateful for today. So obviously I appreciate it. But I do feel like, we should definitely think about, recycling clothes and sustainable stuff. But anyway, I digress. I just really think that the invention of the sewing machine really changed our lives, like super, super massively. It's funny when you think about all of these things that are just so commonplace to us that we don't realize just how much our lives did change. Of course, not in our lifetime because we're, this happened like 150 years ago at this point. But anyway, so I really do want to spotlight the sewing machine today because I use one a lot because I love to sew. And so, or even, just to hem something real quick or to fix something that broke or whatever. But sewing machines are a pretty fantastic invention, my God. Just look at all the things today that were used a sewing machine to make. And it's just going to make you realize that, it's a good thing to be grateful for these things. So number 2, I am grateful for potatoes. I'm saying potatoes because I feel like a lot of times, people are thinking, oh, potatoes, they're high glycemic and potatoes are bad, blah, blah, blah. But, I actually think that potatoes are amazing because you can actually survive on nothing but potatoes and water for several months. Did you know that? Isn't that amazing? So potatoes are actually really good for you, They're not so good for you if you fry them, but they're actually really good for you. They can be anyway. So, and then also I can't discount the fact that they're so delicious. And imagine life without potatoes. If you lived in Europe before, colonialization and all that, you didn't have potatoes because potatoes are native to the Americas. In fact, just South America mostly. In North America, we have sweet potatoes, but the like regular brown potatoes or white potatoes or whatever, those are from South America. There weren't any in Europe. So it's so strange to think that the Irish famine, potato famine, they didn't have potatoes before. So anyway, I don't know too much about, the reasoning behind all of that exactly. I'm not here to talk about that necessarily, but I do want to say that, the food that we eat now is vastly different than the food that we ate before. And potatoes are something that we didn't have in Europe anyway. And anyway, whatever. So I'm going off on a tangent here. Sometimes I do that, but potatoes are great. And I love potatoes and, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, French fries, or frits, or what do you call them? Chips or chips, crisps. So I love potatoes. I sound so ridiculous, but no, it's great. Potatoes are great. I'm moving on to number 3. Number 3, I am grateful for, you know that little flashlight on your phone? There's like a little flashlight that you can get on your smartphone, and I find myself using it quite a lot when I'm out someplace and I just need a light suddenly. You know, you're walking down, a place where you can't really see too well and you want to be able to see the ground before you. Or even in a restaurant when you're trying to read a menu and it's too dark in there, or various other reasons that I can't really think of right now, but I'm sure that you've had reasons to use it. And whoever decided to add that as a feature on smartphones was really smart because it's very useful and I love it. So I am grateful for that. Anyway, I think that's about all I have to say on that. Number 4. Now it's a little more serious. I am grateful for firefighters. I live in LA a lot of time. And, there's a lot of wildfires here, and, it's just firefighters are a complete necessity in this, in the state, or just even in fact the west coast of the United States. Pretty much anywhere in the world, to be honest, but I'm just thinking in terms of the amount of firefighters that we need actually during all the wildfires that sprout most years. And it's I can't even imagine if we didn't have firefighters. I think everything would have burned down. So these people dedicate their lives to saving people's lives and things and places. And, I think that's definitely something we need to think about and be grateful for, because firefighters, they risk their lives. I mean, that's what the job calls for. I mean, I don't have to risk my life for my job. So I think it takes like a certain amount of guts to do that, and dedication, and, a variety of other attributes one would need to have in order to be a firefighter. Like, I suppose being strong, right? So thank you, firefighters, for taking care of us, basically. I mean, right? Yeah, taking care of us. I'm moving on now to number 5. It's a simple thing, but I am grateful for safety pins. I find myself using them pretty often. Like if something's a little too big and you want to just kind of quickly make it fit, you could use a safety pin. Or, you want to pin something to, I don't know, anything, I suppose. Use safety pins for so many different reasons. Such a simple little tool, but they come in really handy, don't they? I wonder if you can think of something. If you can, let me know, because I'm sure there are various uses that I haven't used them for, and maybe I'd like to. So, or whoever's reading this as well, So don't be shy about commenting, because I like to see those comments. And I also really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel and like these videos and watch as many as possible so I can keep doing this. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this and practice gratitude, because it's really important to do that so that you can raise your baseline of happiness. In the long run, you start to default more to appreciating things as opposed to complaining about them. I mean, we're still going to complain because there's a lot of stuff to complain about, and we're just human beings. And, I'm not saying, oh, you shouldn't complain, because you're gonna, and I do. It's not like I'm perfect or something. I just really like to make it a point to practice gratitude so that I feel like life is really good. And when you feel that way, then you can get more done. And then on top of that, you're affecting other people, which is really important, because life can be really, really hard. And sometimes people are going through some really, really difficult times. And so it's good to lend a smile to people when you're out in public. And yeah, so thank you for joining me, and I will see you next time.